DCP Player free. Get it now from digital.net.au.
So do we have an issue then, and all of you have a lot of experience, I think, with the various players that have been out there for some time. Do we have an issue where the devices themselves are not as easy to upgrade as perhaps they could be? I think most personal computers now are fairly straightforward to upgrade as long as you're not moving to another operating system. Is it similarly true with digital cinema appliances? No. Okay.
Well, not at all. It's all over the map how you upgrade them. It's a bit more complicated than your PC or your Mac.
And there's we're now more than 10 years into this, so there are a lot of devices that are first and second and third generations. You have combinations of hardware, firmware, and software that you're working with. It's the triple threat. So you can release software that works on 2/3 of them, and not have the insight into that legacy device until you send the content out to a location that has one.
Yeah.
But I still think the question before was more potent, and that is the urgency for the upgrade isn't really present for the actual exhibitor.
Right.
We've gone through a roadmap, and you've dictated where the roadmap has gone for the last 4 years since 2008. And there are more things coming with new opportunities in the future. But the fact of the matter is, the exhibitors aren't exposed and don't see the benefits of those advantages, except if Avatar 2 comes along and needs them.
Yeah.
And there doesn't seem to really be anyone putting the energy into educating the exhibitors and telling them that this is the roadmap forward and this is where you need to be by this date, by this date, and by this date. And I don't know where that responsibility falls.
Right, and like the digital cinema environment itself, most of the advantages really accrue to the content owner and the distributor. So for example, one of the biggest features that we have available right now that's not yet deployed, which answers a very immediate need, is three-dimensional subtitling, stereoscopic subtitling rendered in the projector. That's something that could save a lot of money in mastering, and yet I don't know that I've heard any studio talk about how they're going to try to convince theaters to move to software that can support that feature, which would have a real impact on their bottom lines.
We've been having those conversations with the studios, and there's quite a bit of desire to get that to move. But when 3D originally happened, we started to see this huge shift of equipment. They literally had to move around projectors and servers that could support the format, and we're coming up on another requirement of that happening.
Yep.
To get your old Series 1 equipment out to locations that will just do the dub playback and get your Series 2 equipment upgraded to support the SMPTE subtitles.
We're seeing some concern, some support from studios to get the 3D subtitles working. Maybe not quite as strong as you.
Yeah, now that the specification has come along to where it's at, I think that there's a lot of interest in seeing it actually happen.
It will also help in distribution, make distribution a little easier, because now same image files can go everywhere, and it's just a XML that can be sent as a partial package.
Terabytes of extra image information right now.
Exactly right.
But that said, there are certain territories that ask us to burn subtitles into the 2D picture, because they don't have confidence in their projector or server being able to render the subtitles appropriately to meet the screens of the software update requirement.
I was just going to comment on that. I mean, you're dealing with LA, and you're dealing with the studios at an LA level. I can tell you the information does not flow to Australia anyway. I mean, the knowledge base of the distributors in Australia about technology, they don't really care. I mean, they really, it's the same people that handle 35mm film, and they basically expect it all still to work the same, and this whole key thing is really just a hassle. And I don't know how you get the education out beyond LA, because it's got to get out to the other 66% of the market, which is the rest of the world.
So we still have the problem in LA.
Sorry, John?
How many people here are not from LA? Okay, good. So you guys need to go home and tell the story that you're hearing here today. We have a question on the right. My right. Europe.